Hello and welcome to Flipped Maths with Mrs. de Hoog. Our topic today is mass, and we are learning to use scales to measure and compare the mass of objects. Some keywords we'll start off with today. We've got mass. Mass is a measure of how much matter is in an object. It does not change if the object goes to space. Weight, on the other hand, is to do with gravity, so if you go to space, your weight would change. We can measure mass, for example, in grams and kilograms, and grams can be used, this symbol can be used, just the G, and in kilograms we've got the small k and the small g, or the lowercase k and g. And 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram, 2,000 grams equals 2 kilograms, just to give you an idea on how they relate to each other. So make sure you pause the video now and record this section on your maths homework sheet. Alright, so now we're going to look at some steps on how to actually measure with mass, or measure the mass of an object using a scale. So here I have an example set of scales. And the steps basically are quite simple. What is the scale? So what's it going up by each time on the lines over here? That's very important when you're measuring, because, or when you're reading a measurement, because if you get that wrong, the whole answer is wrong. And too many students get this bit wrong. So we'll just look at this example here. What is the scale? So on this one here, to look for the scale, we just go, well, what's it going up by? You might go, okay, well, here is 100 on this big line here. This one is 0. So what's going up by to get to 100 each time? Each time to get to 100. So we can go, maybe it's going up in 20s. So we can go 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. That doesn't seem quite right. So we can try 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. That doesn't seem right as well. Let's try 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So that is the scale. Wonderful. So we've got step 1 done. So it's going up by 10s. So now we need to count in 10s until the line is showing. So for example, say I put some apples onto this scale, and the line ended up pointing at this line here. You would just count up, or usually this one's quite obvious, it's 100, and you would record it is 100, and you look over here, it's in grams going around. So 100 grams. Let's look at another example. Let's say, for example, I put another object, number of objects onto the scales, and this one here moved over to this line. What would be the mass of the object? So here, let's say it's pointing straight onto this big line here. This one is pointing at the 200 grams mark. So it's 200 grams. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have the line over here. It's pointing towards this line here. And what you need to do is remember that we have got the scale, which is going up in 10s, 10 grams each time. So we just count from this one here, 300, that's the last, or the closest number showing on the scale. So we've got 300, and let's count in 10s. 310, 320, 330, 340, 350. So we would simply write 350 grams. It's very important that you have this at the end, grams, or the G, the symbol there. If you don't, we don't know what you have actually measured in, and it shows that it's in mass. Let's look at one last example. Let's say we put another object, or a few, onto the scales, and let's say the line now is pointing here. So it's pointing at this line here. We know that it's going up in 10, so let's start up 700 grams, 710 grams, 720 grams, and that would be our answer. And we would just record that there. Alright, So now I'm just going to go through two other sorts of questions that you might get in class about mass. So we've just done reading the mass, and now we're looking at how many grams are in 2 kilograms. We can use this one over here to help us out. We know that 1,000 grams is 1 equals the same as 1 kilogram. So we can just put the 2 kilograms on this side, put 1 kilogram above that to help us out. So if 1,000 grams is the same as 1 kilogram, to get from 1 kilogram to 2, we just times it by 2. So we just do the same on the other side. To make it even, we're trying to see what the equivalence is. So that would mean 2,000 grams is the same as 2 kilograms. Next question, which is heavier, 5.2 kilograms or 5,000 grams? Some people might look at this and get a bit confused and think, well, that one's the bigger number, so I'm going to say that one is heavier. But it's actually incorrect. You need to convert both of them to, or you need to convert one of them to be the other, so you can compare them accurately. So I'm just going to change this one here, 5.2 kilograms into grams, or you could do it the other way around. So I'm just going to say that 5.2 kilograms, we want to have it to grams. So actually I might go the other way, it might be a little less confusing for you. We'll do it this way. So we'll go the other way around. So we'll just convert 5,000 grams to kilograms. So if we have 5,000 grams, we want to know how many kilograms that is. We know that 1 kilogram is the same as 1,000 grams, so we just need to multiply. So over here we've got 1,000 to 5,000, that means we're timesing by 5 to get there, so we times by 5 on the other side as well. So 1 times 5 is 5. So then you can compare them and say, well, this one here is actually 5, it's the same as 5 kilograms, so you can say 5.2 kilograms or 5 kilograms. And 5 kilograms is the same as 5.0, but we just don't need to put that in there because it's just, that can be hidden. So we know that this one here is in fact heavier. 5.2 kilograms is heavier than 5,000 grams. So now you're going to have a turn. It's your turn. So here we've got, going to have a few questions on reading the mass on the scales, and then the question 2 will be how many grams are in 3 kilograms and which is lighter, 4.59 kilograms or 4.9 kilograms. Alright, so just move this one over there. So have a go now at reading the following mass on the following masses. So here I've got this one here, and it's pointing to this line here. Record on your math sheet what that is showing. Remember, this is in grams, and remember you can follow the steps to help you out. Alright, and the next one, imagine this line is pointing towards this line here. Just record the mass on your homework sheet. Remember, you can pause the video at any time if you need to. And finally we have the line pointing towards this line just here that my nail is pointing to. So it's 1, 2, 3 past that thick line there. Alright, so year 4s, I'm just going to leave this one on the screen so you can pause it and have a go at recording the answers for questions 2 and 3. Alright, so make sure you record any connections, or just at least one real world example of this topic in box 3 on your homework sheet, and any questions or comments that you still have in box number 4. And thank you so much for listening to and watching this video, and I really hope this has helped you to understand this topic of maths.